so we got a few presentations left, so have a couple on Thursday, one today, next Tuesday, we'll have a couple, and next Thursday, maybe a few baseball players who got back currently theirs. And then that following week, we can discuss what a final exam sound like, so that there's no confusion there. How about here? What do you think that you'd be ready to present?
I can go today or Thursday.
Or you could go today as well too. Okay. All right, let's see if we can have enough time. All right, moving on. Last class we talked about advertising specifically, various challenges across the globe, cultural effects of advertising, how we promote things, how advertising incites the need or want, desire or something maybe we never thought we knew to some degree. Advertising can be dynamic or static. It could be a billboard, it could be something on a kiosk that's more multimedia content, different channels and avenues people are doing that, using individuals or AI or characters that. This week we're talking about personal selling. What is the benefits of that? Kind of more expressive to relationship marketing, right? How to form relationships with people along with personal selling. The networking component of that kind of involves the relationship aspect and creating some value with networks. And then on Thursday, we'll kind of go over PR, what public relations is in a global perspective, plus the benefits of that, et cetera, et cetera. Let me ask you, why do you think we would need a personal seller of any kind? What would be sort of the value or reason? What are some of the pros to even having a personal seller?
Like a sales associate?
Anything? Yeah, that can count. Right? That's something we call a sales associate, but technically it says personal seller. Right? Someone who's selling us something. What are we selling? Counsel, information. You're building some sort of relationship or rapport with me. You're selling some sort of feel-good experience. Maybe you are telling me about wants that I didn't have. Maybe you show me about needs that you think I should have. Maybe you show me things that I did not know even existed. Maybe I have a problem and you have solutions that other people do not, right? Or maybe I can't solve it on my own to some degree, right? Personal selling is probably the most impactful form of all marketing. Right? We're saying that direct, right? Personal seller to one customer. It is the most impactful. Because we say human connection is always the strongest connection. Person to person. This is the strongest connection you can have. It's not texting someone or sending an email or a phone call or anything like that. There's something powerful about face-to-face interpersonal connection. So we say, hey, personal sellers is someone who's giving value to a need that I have, right? A want that maybe I didn't even know I had. Information, maybe benefits, right? Like, hey, buy the extended warranty as well too. That would kind of protect your purchase, right? You should buy the insurance. Let me show you the insurance package we have to protect that wonderful iPhone of yours, right? Now, some things we can learn on our own, and it's really changed. We don't have as much personal selling as we used to back in the day. Personal selling was huge. Door-to-door salesmen, people knocking on their door, even having devices to show you for demonstration purposes, right? Whether it be a microwave, coffee maker, or something to that degree. Now we live in an age of information, which means the customer has most of the information that they need, but there's still situations where you I say an easy one is kind of just retail, right? You're going into an environment, you're not certain where everything is, you're not certain if the stuff on the shelf is everything that's in the store, right? You may need some demonstrations or information about something that's particularly complex, it's something electronic, computer, household device. So personal selling still is needed in a Target. I said Walmart doesn't have great personal selling, but it's like Target and other places as well. Car dealerships, right? You're trying to be convinced amongst a sea of cars. Now you probably already came into a dealership with an idea on what you want to buy, but there's just so many other things that you just may not know because you're, maybe limited. The dealerships and their salespeople may have discounts, right? There may be some added value, bless you. There may be things about a vehicle that you get that either persuade you or dissuade you from the purchase. So we say the actual personal seller has a benefit, right? And some people are great at it, and some people are not good at it. Some people will dissuade you from purchasing. Others will be influential. Right? So we say there's benefits. Cons. Expensive. Hire somebody for the salary or hourly wage, maybe they get commission based on the sales values they get. You gotta get them insurance, health insurance, dental, maybe life insurance, pay time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And we say in business, we're concerned about profit, unfortunately. But we also want to keep employees happy too, right? We want good retention. The companies with bad retention don't fare well but we say, hey, character matters of the personal something. Are they humorous? Are they friendly? Are they welcoming? Are they pushy? Are they aggressive? Think about it. When you walk in some retail spaces and a person's constantly asking you, you sure you don't need help? Right? What about this over here? You're like, I'm fine. I got it, right? There's tactics. There's way to go around it without being kind of pushy or weird about it, right? Sometimes like some salespeople are over your back and you're just trying to find things on your own to some people, right? So it takes a skill. Personal sellers need training, but beyond training, they need experience, right? We should have training. We have to be a good personal seller, right? We should also, if we get some experience, it should be something maybe organic and natural that you are a good salesperson, naturally. So pros and cons, right? It is very time consuming as well too. You have to train people. It does take a lot of resources as well too. But highly effective when we're talking about long-term kind of commitment or either high purchase prices, right? Things that you can add on top of the initial product that a customer is coming in for. Coming in for a sweater, you may leave you with a pair of jeans and some sneakers as well too, because someone convinced you of some kind. Now beyond that, we have things like relationship selling, right? Selling relationships, relationship marketing. This we're talking about long-term orientation, lifetime customer value, making long-term commitments from customers so that they continuously buy, purchase, come back to us, right? With that, we say, hey, there's always going to be a problem out in the market. The market creates problems. Things change. Rules, protocols, trends, economics. There's always a new problem, right? And if we have a great relationship marketing, we're there to always service and help those problems. Sometimes we create problems, right? We say, hey, like a doctor. The doctor never cures you. The doctor manages you. He manages your symptoms, right? And you take pharmaceuticals, you come back, checkups every once in a while. But you're never really cured of anything, usually. And if you work here, the doctors would probably lose a lot of money to get a business, hospitals. Right? So think about that, like, doctors engage in some sort of relationship marketing. You may like your doctor, that's why you chose them. You don't, you go to good one, you go to somebody you like. And if you like them, it's probably something beyond even how resourceful or intelligent they are to pinpoint exactly what your issue. You may like the person. You say, hey, you do a good enough job, but it's your character that keeps me coming back, and keeps me paying kind of money as well too, right? So we say, hey, we know we as relationship marketing, we like to persist in these symptoms, right, and manage them overall. Think of your phone providers, right? T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, etc. You've probably been with them for years, right? You call someone to speak to so that you can try to service a problem that otherwise can't be serviced just on the website, right? Or using their whatever, their AI feature or something to that degree. And so along the way you ask, hey, is there anything out there right now, any programs or promotions out there to save me a couple bucks a month, et cetera, et cetera. They may find something. But with that, finding something with network or relationship marketing is connecting with other people in order to solve problems. It may not be just a one-on-one thing like personal selling, right? Network or relationship is using the network to help satisfy the customer's issues, right? And keeping those resources available to help satisfy their issues in the future as well too. Right? A little bit different. Public relations, which we'll talk about on Thursday, is essentially that we have a reputation, we have a brand, we have things to protect. And those are assets. Right? They're extremely important because it's the perception of the public about what we do as a company, as marketers, et cetera. Right? So we have to have that highly protected. And we can use a multitude of tactics, right? One, we can facilitate media outlets to make us share good stories about us, right? Increase the positive aspect of public perception about the company. We use social media, right? Sometimes it backfires. Maybe there's something political going on, and we are forced in some way to enter the discussion of politics and where we stand as an organization. And so we have to manage how we go about doing that. Right? Because now things can quickly go left with Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, et cetera. Right? And quickly you find yourself that, hey, human beings we're not necessarily the greatest researchers, right? Innately, we're not the greatest researchers, right? Human beings look for quick information, shortcuts. We usually look at maybe 2 or 3 things and we take that as the gospel, right? That's the truth, and that's going to be how we receive that. And then we already had an agenda, we have other things, confirmation bias. Like, hey, I already hated you, even if something positive came out, I'm still going to hate you. Because I need to reaffirm my own beliefs, right? So that I can get away from the anxiety of accepting new beliefs, which is stressful. Retraining your brain. So PR is big. We need to create great public perception using a multitude of tools and tactics and strategies. And it gets more complicated if we're talking about going overseas. We use a firm over there to do that. Are they still aligning with cultural values of the company? Right. Even going back to personal selling and network and relationship marketing, we think of, do we use others from that native soil in order to be the sellers? Because we also have a culture as an organization. If we founded a company in the United States, we have a culture of our own. It's based on some sort of mission statements, goals, directives, ethics, principles, values. So difficult to try to translate those things to a different culture, right? But it kind of becomes something else, kind of takes its own cultural form. So it makes it a little bit more complex. So we're here in the U.S., it's kind of easily expressed. For training Americans about American product, makes it more easy to express what it is we believe in as a culture. Right? It's usually easy to maintain. Right? Liberal-minded, conservative-minded, somewhere in the middle. Is it religious-based things? Is it some conservation things? Is it sustainability? Is it, you have something. And all of us kind of understand what that means to a degree, right? All right, commerce defined, the activity embracing all forms of the purchase and sale of goods and service. So, right, we think of the word commercial, right? In essence, even when we talk about personal selling, the employee is commerce. The employee is commercializing a human being. The same way that we would have commercialized a piece of paper as a billboard. The same way we would have commercialized a kiosk with an electronic medium or something, right? Here we're commercializing a person, you're selling a person. We've seen this before, even in commercials. Can you think of individuals who would be regarded as personal sellers in popular commercials about products? Could you think of anything? Can you think of a person that we've commercialized? Not even a person, maybe a character or something. Yes, Tim?
You got a lot of the insurance mascots where they have the person who kind of is the brand on screen. You got I can't remember what company it is, but the guy who always gets into accidents.
Mayhem.
Yeah, Mayhem.
Allstate.
Yeah.
All right, so you have the actor, I forget his name, he's popular, he's played in Mad Men and okay, Mayhem from Allstate, right? This character that we watch with a storyline about something always happening, very tragic in a car, you always think it'd be protected, right? Mayhem is always around for something. Do you think of anything else? Right, the gecko from Geico, right? It becomes a popular cultural icon to some degree, and that absolutely helps us expose us to Geico as a premier insurance provider before all things. Right? We don't have to look at it and say, oh, Geico. With Jake from Allstate, right? So you're like, hey, younger person, more a little bit culturally diverse, right? Like, hey, who are we really targeting? We're targeting more of a diverse culture of people at this point. Young, right? Even minorities to some degree, but still a person who can still relate to everyone else. Right? What is progressive? Can't think of it right now. Who remembers the one from Progressive Insurance?
Flow.
Flow, yeah. Right, we have people like Flow. The use of humor and all these things. But in essence, this is commercializing a person with a specific character and attributes that resonate with a lot of people, right? Remember, some people are great at personal selling. Some people are great at selling in general. Some people are not. Even as students, I'll tell you this, the benefit of education is wonderful. But once again, education almost involves a great deal of marketing if you want it to be successful. No one knows how great you are. Just like a customer would not know a product exists if there was not great marketing for the product. Right? We only identify what's trendy or what's the best probably from successful marketing. It's a successful exposure to the maximum amount of human beings. Right? And so really it's like great marketers select what's best. Even an artist that you think of Taylor Swift. You're like, okay, Taylor Swift is, my head. She's good, don't get me wrong, good. But when I think of Celine Dion, Madonna, Mariah Carey, I'm like, okay, it's not that. But when you have to say it doesn't matter. What matters is the best marketing. So the best marketing gets the most exposure. The most exposure creates the most influence, and most influence creates the most dollars. Therefore, Taylor Swift is killing it. Right? So when we see anything that's not necessarily innately the best thing, like in some organic way, it is literally what's been presented in the best form through marketing. The same would go for you as a student. I ask a lot of students, like, and they're like, I don't have a LinkedIn account. Okay, then what do you got? You can't, right? On social media, there's probably stuff on there that you don't want people to see. But you want to be exposed as a professional, or you take it serious, you have to have something like LinkedIn, which is probably, this is the Facebook or TikTok of professional social media. It's just that, professional social media. Right? You want to expose yourself in the best way possible, right? So, showing yourself as the best product is a key ingredient to how successful this degree will work out for you. If not, you're going to sell yourself short. Because there's others who are not as great as you. They're not as intelligent. They're not. It doesn't matter. It's that they have had more effective marketing of self-marketing. Okay? That's kind of how it goes. And so, yeah, I was, thinking, I also teach psychology, and psychologists, and therapists, all these things, and from a psychological point of view, the most intelligent people, intelligence does not usually equate with success. If we're talking about financial success, right? Which means that people who are very less intelligent still become extremely wealthy. You say, why? Because maybe they're more practical. Practicality is what matters out there, right? Practicality is what matters outside. Intelligence is what matters here, but also practicality as well too. So you want to have a little bit of that. Personally speaking, I think the best combination of success involves a degree of creativity. Highly intelligent with a creative spirit or creative mind. Success, all the way. Because you'll always find new things. You'll always create new ideas or find new things that people want outside environment to service them. Okay. All right, well, how about this? Because we're kind of limited on time. We'll come back also to personal selling some more on Thursday. But let's start off with our first presentation. And if we have time after that, maybe we'll do our second, and then we'll maybe some close as well. use this microphone?
Khan Academy, the mission statement is to provide a free world-class education to anyone and anywhere. Khan Academy is a nonprofit education platform that offers free online courses, lessons, and planning exercises in a variety of subjects like math, biology, chemistry, and others like that. It focuses on kindergarten and through all the way to high school, but they're integrating some college preparation as well. They also help you with test prep and SAS, machine, and other varieties. And also they're starting to have an adult education, but also how Khan Academy started with Saul Khan helping his cousins study for the math test, and so he was going to their house and teach them and tutoring them. And then however one day he couldn't come to their house, so basically he decided to record a video of himself like going through the math problem. Eventually the cousin said like do not come over anymore, just send the videos because they like how he paused and rewind like any explanation that he needed so they can understand. And then eventually Saul can develop like a website where they can do like simple math problems. Like this would be like just addition and division and things like that functionality are simple and clear and familiar. So for example, the team can pilot and monitor to communities before national scaling. And then we have also, which is like success can be measured via academic from performance and digital literacy. And then we go into the market. The target area in this region is rural provinces like Jiang, Bin, and Jiang, where infrastructure and education outcomes lag behind older centers. So we have the market and, like I mentioned, transportation and communications. There are obviously going to be basic roads and public buses that help the students to get into the community hubs. And for the communication is developing 4G and 5G networks, but it's inconsistent in remote villages. And then we also need the high and low phone accessibility. And for consumers' behaviors, parents prioritize education, but they lack access in rural areas. There's also low online spending power, but high willingness for free digital resources, which this is where an academy enters because we offer free services, and we're going to educate people like good access to them in a rural background. And then local leaders and schools are key influencers for us to come in and actually engage with the community. Then we have the distribution of the product. The primary distribution would be like community centers, schools, and NGOs as distribution points. There's going to be middlemen as well. For example, it would be partners with Vietnamese EdTech, NGOs, and government bodies to locally manage hubs. For the advertising and promotion, I just have an example of how I would an academy would come into the rural parts of Vietnam. And then it would be like a strategy to adapt to local culture and digital habits. And just an example of how I would do like an advertising example, and it would be like a short video of how an academy would work in rural areas, and so it would show like a little kid going from his house to the like the place where we have like the academy resources. And then I just did a slogan for an academy, which is learn anywhere, anytime with an academy, which comes right from the mission statement. And for sales promotions, an example would be the referral program via schools, like NGOs led learning days, with prize incentives, and like those prizes can be like a certification of like achievement, or eventually earning your own tablet so you can take it home. Obviously, it's free for users. However, it need to be funded by grants, NGOs, partners, and sponsorships, and even the government, because Vietnam, especially the rural areas, government want to have education to be more accessible. And then just to compare and contrast my products with other competition, we have VM. And then as you can see, this was just able to compare both. They have similar features, like Khan Academy is free, multilingual, and it offers offline help. However, like that's an advantage for us, but for community, they have paid for going for online courses. And also like the packaging are different from theirs, which is we have the bundle hardware and software, and they only have the online resource, which is which basically means that like, if we don't have like internet access in rural areas, the competition will really be a competition because they don't cannot enter into the market. However, we are offering the hubs that can help you with your solar iPad and tablets where you can learn. And like I mentioned, one of the main like, competitive advantages is that parents, teachers, and community leaders in after educational relevance, which is like ensuring content reflects students' live and learning needs. And then long-term adoption, which is the culture sensitivity, increases user engagement and retention. And this is more, if you want me to read all of it.
Yeah.
And then we have the relevance quiz.
All right, excellent. All right, so Khan Academy, comes from what country? The founder, right?
I believe he's like descended from India, but he's
Right.
born.
Okay, so it operates as a not-for-profit organization or non-government organization. Do you know how it's funded? Like who primarily funds Khan Academy? Since it's free.
I believe they earn a lot of grants and the government as well.
Grants, governments, you know, it takes just how much like donations.
They do take donations.
Okay, so really the advantages it has is that you can use hardware, software, it could be also offline, kind of like downloadable things that you use.
Yes.
And so that it really circumvents like the need to have internet access all the time in these remote areas. So all right, excellent. Any questions for, or comments for us? All right, great. We'll save yours for Thursday. We'll make sure you have enough time. We'll just get rid of our blurbs today, and then we'll wrap up class. We got a blurb? Here, you and Tim. I'll make sure I leave this up here for now, in case anybody wants to.
So I found an article they're talking about a potential merger or buyout with BP. So I guess BP is like become a real target, and I guess they've done that intentionally, and so they kind of changed their focus from I think I'm guessing they're gonna move into like a different direction as far as oil and everything. I'm guessing that's what they're doing, but they didn't say in the article. But they're looking to be bought out or merging. It seems like, and there's been a lot of rumors for a while, I guess, about Exxon and Chevron buying it out, but it's an American company. So I don't know if Shell, there's a lot of rumors, I guess, about it. That's what they're talking about. And I don't know if it being a British company makes it easier or makes it make more sense for them to like market it. I don't know. But Shell hasn't announced itself to be very interested, but for a while, I guess, Exxon and Chevron have been, and Chevron has been pursuing, I guess, wells or something, and that hasn't gone well, so it's looking like they might shift BP.
Okay, so, but did you read any, or just kind of come across any inclination, like why? Like, is it something happening economically?
Yeah, their numbers, BP is just their numbers, they're like being outdone by everybody else in the industry right now. And then they said to a lot of professionals think that the oil industry might last a lot longer than some people think. It's like much as up to like 40 more years before it could crash. So that's why like certain, I guess certain companies are like putting their focus into like electric energy, and others are still like going all in on oil. So
Okay. Now for, pretty sure you put gas in, you get a shell. What is it about BP that may be somewhat be honest, BP has horrible gas.
Yeah,
Like, you may not pay attention, so like, there is a difference in the type of gas you have, how long your car will actually go, how you'll look money. BP's gas drains pretty quickly. In spite of the rate, whether you put in 93 or 87, BP just has crap gas. A lot of times it'll, harm your engine in the long run. So to me, Shell has the most superior gas in that retail gas line. So definitely has to be Shell.
So Hungary passed a constitutional amendment against the LGBTQ community. The bill, or amendment, I should say, makes it so that public LGBTQ events are banned. They say they're doing so in the name of child protection. They think that it goes against their protection to see these things in public. It also states that there are only two sexes, which is against transgenderism. And it reminds me a lot of, like, during Pride Month each year, the pages for like the American companies, they'll have like the Pride themed logos, but like in the Middle Eastern countries, they won't change it because they know they'll get backlash, and I think this is kind of an example of that.
Have you been reading, keep it up, like, is it something that you think we spread out throughout Europe, or is it just a regional thing specific to Hungary, or something else?
I'm not sure. I think it's gonna be more, I don't think it's gonna be a big thing throughout most of Europe, because I think Europe tends to be a bit more progressive on that. But I don't think these laws are needed as much in a lot of other Middle Eastern countries that are already very anti-LGBT.
All right, thank you, Tim. All right, that's it for today. So Thursday, we'll kind of revisit, networking and PR. We'll have hopefully 3 people go on Thursday. And then next week, remaining 2, and then following, these guys in front. So Thursday we'll have a full load of presentations. All right, if there's nothing else,